Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all had a good Christmas, happy holidays and all that stuff, and happy new year to each and every one of you. I'm in my hometown centre at the moment, and I'm going to be shooting my pinhole camera. And inside here I've got a roll of Acros, Fuji Acros 2, and I'm going to be taking a few photographs of a magnificent church that sits in our town centre. I'll show you that in a moment. And I've only got 12 shots in there. And my idea is to bracket my shots. So I'm going to set up one scene, we'll look at one scene, take 3 photographs, different exposures, and see where we go on there from the negatives. From there I'm going to go to another scene and then get down to the beach, because there's another scene, the tide will be out, and there's another scene that I want to look at. I've also bought out my... Have I bought it out? I've got my bag. Oh yeah, I've also bought out my Nikon F90X. And recently I've been having a bit of a creative block, if you like. Whenever I've gone out and shot 35mm, I've got 5 or 6 shots in. And then I started, not get bored, but I just started to lose inspiration. And, you know, I've ended up going back, just cutting the film out of the camera and not really having a good time doing the photography that I came out and intended to do. So I know we all get it, you probably get it as well when you get this sort of creative block where you think, oh, I don't know what to shoot, I don't know where to go, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you try and find excuses not to go out, or you try and think about going out, but you just can't find any reason to go out and shoot. I get that. And I've decided to come out and on the 35mm and shoot shapes. So that's what I'm going to do with that, is look at shapes, and in particular, not circles or squares or anything like that, parallels and lines. I'm going to try and get parallels and lines into my photographs. And, you know, the idea is that I come out with a couple of decent prints from that roll, but also enjoy the challenge of trying to find parallels and lines throughout the 36 shots that are sitting in that film. I'm actually not sitting in the film, they're sitting in this can at the moment. And for that, I'm going to be shooting Rollei Superpan 200, kindly sent to me by Jean from Prefontaine in Canada. He sent me a few rolls of this stuff, and I'm going to see how I get on with it inside the Nikon F90X. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, and I've got a pork pie. I've got a pork pie when I get hungry, so water on a pork pie and my cameras. Let's go to church, I'll show you around and see how we get on. So this is typical. I've just got outside the car, come over, I had a little walk around looking at the church, see what scenes I want to shoot, and it started to rain, not heavy, but it's just very light rain, which is a bit of a bummer really, because I don't want, using that pinhole, if I'm going to shoot upwards, I don't want the rain to come down and hit right on top of the pinhole. So, but you can see the sort of scenes I want to get. It's a magnificent church. I'm just going to have to wait around a little bit. Hopefully the rain might lift. There's a fish and chip shop over there, so I might go and get 7 chips. 7 chips, please. 7 sirloin chips, please.
Oh, sirloin, sorry.
Not 7 chips.
Why are you saying 7?
Mate, I ain't that fat. Calm down. The old seagulls are giving it large. Right, it seems to have stopped raining now. My belly's full, so let's crack on and get these shots in. a bit wet, it's a bit slippery, all the seaweed. I'll come back and get the GoPro. So the tide's the tide's not out as much as I was hoping. I'll have to go down there a bit more. And I'm walking like a complete twat because this shit's really slippery on here. Oh, I better get the GoPro. Frame number 9, so I'll just have to wing these exposures. I'm reckoning I'm going to go 5, 10, 15 and 20 second exposures. No reciprocity failure for those times with the Acros 2. So this is a nice scene. Hopefully I can get something nice out of it. First of all, 5 second exposure. 1, 2, 10 second exposure. 1, 2, next one 15 and then 20 and then we're done. 1, 2, 3, number 12, 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. The only thing I've got to do now is spend some time, a little bit of fun time, a little bit of me time, shooting that Nikon F90X with that Superpan 200 inside, the Rollei Superpan 200, and I'll show you those negatives when I develop them. So I'm going to go off now around the beach, try and find those lines I was telling you about, and I'll show you what I get later. I've got to get off this groin first. Get too off this shit. So that was quite good fun, apart from, you know, a little bit drizzly where I was trying to shoot that church, and obviously an overcast dull day. It wasn't the ideal conditions to go out and shoot, but you know what, I could have just stayed indoors and gone, oh, it ain't the right time to go out and shoot and watch nothing on TV all day long. But I wanted to go out and take some photographs, and that's what I did. I ended up back in my darkroom making a few prints of the Pinhole Camera. I'll show you those in a moment. But when I went out and shot that Nikon and gave myself that challenge of shooting lines around the beach area, I kind of enjoyed that, because normally, like I said, I'll go out and take 35mm, I'll put a roll of 35mm in, 36 shots, and I end up coming back, taking what I need and cutting it out of the camera and then doing my developing that way. I haven't been out as long on the field. I still quite enjoyed doing that, but I found that quite interesting, was to just challenge myself and say, right, what am I going to go and shoot? I'll go and shoot some lines. Bosh, off I went. Bang the whole roll out. Some of them were okay, some of them were quite nice, some of them were pretty naff. But and I do all my scanning on DSLR. I haven't got a scanner. Most of my work's done in the darkroom, so any monies that I get coming in for my projects and my channel, I spend it in the darkroom. So to me, buying an expensive scanner just to do scanning, it won't really make sense. Most of my stuff goes on here in paper and chemicals. So I'll show you some of the prints that I did anyway. This was the first print that I did, if you can see that. This is the first print I did of the groin over at the on the sea there, and well, just had a little bit of difficulty. There was no light. The light was really flat, so I was just having a little bit of trouble in the darkroom trying to make a decent print. But I still ended up doing something half decent, which I quite liked, which was this one here. I had to do a little tiny bit of dodging and burning around this area, but you can see typical pinhole vignetting and stuff going on. I quite like this, so that's going to go in my little collection, possibly get framed at some point. I did put this on Instagram, if you notice, and these little tiny bits of bird shit on the groin here, I took them out in Photoshop, and you know, I prefer this one because it just shows as it was, what it was, you know, the bird shit was there at the time. So I wouldn't even know how to take that out in the darkroom. Maybe someone can let me know how I can do that if I wanted to do it at some point. The church, I wasn't too happy with the church, you know. I only ended up printing one off, and even, you know, again, that was pretty tricky because it was just such flat lighting. But that's one that I did of the church. The others I showed you on the DSLR scan. So let's get on to the 35mm negs. I want to do some prints with the lines and stuff that I shot at the beach. I'll show you those negs. And here they are. You probably can't see them too well, but I shot 2 rolls of the Superpan, and one that I pushed to 800, so that's 2 stops from 200 to 800, and that one's there. Kind of underdeveloped it, and this is another one where I shot it at 200 and developed it normally. They come out a lot better. So I'm going to make some prints with that 35mm. I've already chose 3 that I like, and I'm going to be using Ilford's multi-grade paper, the new stuff. I quite like this. It's got some good contrast to it, so we'll see how we get on with that. So I've got these 3 frames, and I'm going to be putting 3 prints into these frames. I think they're 10 by 8, I think. But I'm not going to be using an easel. I'm all fingers and thumbs in here at the moment. Small dark room, I've got crap everywhere. Whoop. So I've taken the mat board out of one of the frames, and that's what I'm going to use as a guide or as an easel for doing these prints. So they'll fit perfectly when I put them in the frames. So I'll show you the negs. Let's get on, make a couple of prints, and I'll show you the end results afterwards. Right, so I'm just putting my first negative in. This is of one of the benches, and this is on the Rollei shot at 200, not push, just blowing the dust off. And I've got a grade 2 filter inside my enlarger, and that's my rock to stand on. Make sure and get my framing right. It's up to me how I want to frame it. If I don't want to use the whole frame, I don't have to. If I want to crop in, I can. But I think I'm going to use the whole frame. Well, actually it's a 10 by 8 on a 35mm, so that won't work. It would be too small. I'm going to crop in. Do a bit of focusing. It's my grain finder or focus finder. Put a bit of paper down there. That's the same size as the paper I'm going to be using. And to get some grain. Unfortunately, recently my enlarger is starting to, whenever I get my focus in on the grain, for some reason it tends to slip. And I've taken it all apart and tightened it all up. I don't know why. But maybe one of you guys can enlighten me whether that happens to you or not with your enlargers. So I'm just going to tape this down on the side very carefully, so it doesn't move. Set my aperture, close it down a couple of stops, 2-second test strips. It's a piece of paper there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 and 10. So that's my test strip done. Let's develop this and see how it looks. Let's get this stuck under here. And I'll just weight that template down with my little angle brackets here, so no light seeps underneath. And what do we say, 4 seconds? 4 seconds, go. That's it, done. Let's develop it and see what it looks like. So I'm on my last print now and I like it, but it's just too underexposed. It was one of the pushed that I'd shot, but I do like it and I'm going to carry on working with it. I've decided to take the grade 2 filter out and do a little bit of split grading. I've already done some tests, so I'm going to use contrast 0 and a contrast 4, not a 5, because I dropped 5 about 10 minutes ago and it's ruined my filter. So new filter's on the way, but grade 0, grade 4 for 3 seconds each. So let's do that now. So that's it for the darkroom session. I've just put the last print out to dry, so I've made 3 prints for my frames and I'll show you them framed when they've dried after the video. Pretty much wrapping it up now. But yeah, you know, when you lose a little bit of enthusiasm or maybe a bit of creativity or inspiration when you're shooting film, you know, I've been going through it recently, and the last couple of days I've just been going out shooting 35mm and shooting the whole roll, giving myself little tiny challenges and, you know, slowly getting my creative sparks back that way, and it's kind of working for me. As you saw here, I went out and shot a load of lines and I've come back with a few prints that I've liked. I've had a good time in the darkroom making some prints as well. Whether you're scanning and doing Photoshop, doesn't matter. You know, point is getting back out and keep shooting, so that's what I've done here. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe and share and all that stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.